Okay, so I'm going to start from scratch here, and I'm going to make myself a new project because a lot of people are having trouble with this. And I'm going to create a WCF service library to start with, and I'm going to preface all this stuff with my movie library. My movie library. It's a WCF service library, that's fine. And I'm going to create the directory for this. And this library is going to have a connection to a database and several things, and we'll just whip through it here really quick. This has several things. I can rename this, and I will want to rename PI Service 1. So I am going to do that right now. And I'm going to say, let's rename this to the My Movie Library. I think that's what I'm calling it. I'm going to call it its SVC library, service library. Okay. Alright. So I need to change it here too, since I didn't do it here first. My movie service SVC library. Okay, so what I don't need is use data contracts as illustrated below to add composite types to the service. I don't need a composite type, so I can just bye-bye all of this. And I am going to have a get movies, and I am going to have no value for that, and we're going to have a string a movie. Now, it's not going to like that, so I need to go in here and add a link to my database. So I'm going to add a new item, and I am going to grab something from data, an ADO, and I'm going to call this my movie model. Okay. And I'm going to go to there. I'm going to have my Bob movies. That's yes, include sensitive data. And Entity Framework 6 is fine. Let's look at this. If I don't have this correct, I certainly won't be able to do everything. This is movies model namespace. And it's thinking. And I don't know if you can hear the fan in the background, but it's thinking hard. Okay. It got movie, ID, title, etc. So I'm just going to save that. And close it. And I am going to include, nothing here. This is just going to be using movies library. There we go. Now we can get movies, and I'm going to create another one here called, this is actually going to be a list of movies. Okay, this one is going to be a single movie, and we're going to say a get movie by ID. That would be an int ID. Yeah, that's wrong. I don't know why that's there. And then we're going to have another operations contract with a bool for create, no, a movie. We're going to do a create movie, and we're going to hand in a movie, and then we're going to have another operations contract, and we're going to have a, create, read, update, a movie, update, movie, movie, movie. I guess we really do need to put that in there, don't we? Movie. And then we have, of course, that needs a semicolon. Then we have create, read, update, and we need a delete. And this one's just going to be a Boolean, delete movie, and it's going to have a movie, delete. Oh, let's just do int ID. Now, all of this stuff is stuff that I did before, so I don't feel it necessary to spend too much time on this. This is my interface, and then I need to go down to my movie, my service, this one, and this one is going to be renamed to my movie SVC. Yes, I would. Thank you very much. All right. Now, as far as all this stuff goes, delete it. Click on here, grab this, and implement the interface. And I am going to pause for a moment while I populate all these because we did this before. So, just a moment. Okay, so I've populated this, and I'm going to go back and fix a couple of things here, remove the unnecessary things. But basically, I have, and you can pause this video at any time if you want to get all of the details here. I created a movie entities up here, movies entities. I've got a movie, create movie. There, I've got a delete movie that works here. I've got a get movie here, which is very simple, and a get movies, which is also equally as simple. And an update movies is the last one. That's the way they came out. So you can take a look at those. Those are just the database kind of functionality that I've put into this right now. And if you run it, it pulls up the WCF test client, and I can do get movies and invoke it, and it'll say, okay, in the future you don't need to show me that message, because I am talking to somebody on the network. And there it is. I've got a movie in here called Hello World. It's genre scary, ID 1, release date, whatever. And I can go in here and create a movie, and I can put in the genre is comedy, and ID, I don't care, it can be -1. I can do, if I click on this, by the way, I should be able to do like 10, let's see, 2, 29, 1968. Okay. That's a real date, by the way. And let's do the great, I know that's not right, but the great race. Okay. And then I can go and invoke this, and it returns to me this value here. It returns a movie, and it gives me then the ID that I can tell what it was. Okay, so then if I go back to my get movies and invoke it again, I have two of them, and the second one should be the great race. So there we go. All right. No matter what I do at this point, these appear to be working. All right. So the next step then is to create a service, an actual service that we can deploy, and that's going to require me to add a new project. And again, this is going to be under WCF, Service Application. This is no longer a service library that I'm going to be adding here. And this is going to be called Movies SVCs, Movie Service. That's what I'm going to call it instead of the My Movies library, movie library. And it's going to create a bunch of things here. The only thing I'm really interested in at this point in the movie service is this thing right here. I do not need this service.acs, so I'm going to get rid of it. Yeah, I don't need the code behind, but I'm getting rid of this one too. Delete. Yes, it will be permanently deleted. And this, delete. Okay, and it's permanently deleted. And so here's my movies service. I don't really care about it at the moment. Let me close all these other things because I don't need them open here. This is my .svc file, and I would very much like to rename it to something besides Service 1. So I'm going to rename it Movie SVC, Movie Service. We'll just call it Movie Service. And I don't have a code behind, so that's going to go away. And this is movies no longer Service 1, but Movie Service dot Movie Service. Hold on. Yeah, just Movie Service. Okay. Actually, this is not what I'm going to be hosting. So let me change that really quick. I need to do a reference to this library right here. So I'm going to add a reference to, in my solution, the My Movie library. Okay. And what I'm going to actually be talking with is the My Movie SVC. So this would be my, let's go check and see what it's going to be. I think it's My Movie Library is going to be its fully qualified name. Yes, My Movie Library. So that's what this is. Oh. Yeah, My Movie Library. And then let's go over here, and it's going to be the My Movie Service class is going to be the thing that I'm hosting actually. Now at this point I can go in here to tools, and I can, or my project, sorry, project, and do properties or whatever. I just need to go to my solution properties. Let's do that. Solution properties, and my startup project is going to be movie service. I'm not going to start up the other project because it's just a library and I don't need to. So when I do that, it actually is going to start up in Firefox, and it's going to try and run, and when I go to this .svc, it actually has all of these different things. So here's my WSDL and all the other things that I was talking about, right? So what I want to do at this point is start up a developer prompt, and I can go over here. Let me just grab this really quick and say, here, go to this. That's what I really want to go to. Control C, and I can go WCF test client, and I can run that and say, hey, add a service, right-clicking and add a service, and I can say do that one, and it's going to add a service called Get Movies, and so I can get to it from here, and I just want to make sure that I'm invoking it correctly, because I want to make sure that it's working. And I came up with an error here. This is probably the problem with my other system, and that is I don't have a connection string named movies entities in my service system. So I wanted to show you this because it's kind of important. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here to my config file, my app config file, and you'll notice that I have a config section here, and there's services down here, and down here I have providers, SQL client, blah blah blah, all this other kind of stuff. But here I have a connection string. So there's several different things that we'll look at. One of them is the provider, one of them is the connection string, and then up here we have a section for entity framework. But what I really need in this web config is this yeah. So let me see if I can find connection strings, because I need a connection string and I don't have one. So I need to figure out where to put one. And I'm probably going to have to go look that up online or add it directly in. So let's see what we get here. Give me just a moment to figure this out. And while I'm at it, I can close these. I don't need this kind of stuff up here. So as it turns out, the way this works, I think I can just copy this right into my web config. So I'm going to go to my web config, and I've got here a place for connection strings. And so I'm going to save that, build it, and run it again. And you're seeing it for the first time just like me. And I'm going to start my WCF test client again. And again, I'm going to go back over here and copy the link and find my WCF test client and add the service and see if it'll do it. Here, when I invoke this now, I still get an exception. Metadata exception. Schema specified as not valid. Errors. My movies model.ssdl. There are no entity framework provider found in the 8.0 provider for invariant name. So there's obviously a few other things I'm going to have to copy in here. One way to deal with this would be to just go ahead and go through the process of actually copying the pieces over, but I don't really want to do that. I want to try and see if I can make it run in this system by doing some basic things. So this is my app config over here. I need to come back over here, and they're saying, hey, I don't have anything related to entity framework, so I need to create this entity framework stuff here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that back over into my web config just like I did the other stuff. We'll see if it works. Single file requires, yeah, go ahead and stop it. Save it and build it. It succeeded. We'll run it. We still got our WCF test client there. It's still connected, so I'm going to go ahead and try and invoke it again. Okay, hold on. That's probably because I need to close it and restart it, so let me do that. Drag this over here so I can get to it. The requested page cannot be found. Nope, internal error. Let's go back and try and fix that. Just a moment. Okay, small problem fixed. Let me show you what I did so that you don't have to run into the same problem. First of all, let me shut this down here. Now I'll go back and stop this. Yeah, that's wrong. Oh. So I'd copied the connection string in here, and it still gave me an error telling me that I couldn't find a provider. And the reason why I couldn't find the provider is because this particular version did not have Entity Framework installed for that project. So I had to go to the Manage NuGet Packages here, and I went to Browse and found the Entity Framework, and I just click on it and had it installed. Now you can see that the Entity Framework is installed. And now when I run it, it hosts the web service. It's here. And when I pull up the WCF test client and add the service to it, it keeps coming up with the same one. That's fine. There it is. I can double click on it and invoke it. And it takes a few seconds, but there it is. And if you look here, this is my Hello World Scary Movie and my Great Race Comedy. So, and by the way, those are the ones in my database. So if I go over here to my system and I go to movies and I create myself a new query and actually, takes a few seconds, and actually say select star from movies. I think its table is just movie, and I hit it. Execute on that. The result it gives me is the two that I was talking about. So those are the ones that are actually in this, and this is my virtual machine right here. It's Bob. Oh wait, this is CS446 on Bruce. So this is my computer. So it's working. That's great. So now I need to write an actual client for it. And to do that, I'm just going to, again, take some time, because we already did this in class. I'm going to take a moment here and go ahead and write that client. So here we are back. I just wanted to show you what I did here. When adding a new project to this, it is important that, at least for now, I'm doing a Windows Form app with Classic Desktop, and I'm just going to call this my movies client. And again, I'm going to do a little bit of work to get my form up and running. And you don't need to watch me do that because we've done it before. And there is another video of that, so let me stop that. Okay, there's one thing I wanted to do before I get too far into this other client-side stuff, and that is we haven't actually published the service. And I've done that now. I actually went through here and published my movie service, and I just right-clicked and hit publish, and it gets me here, and I went ahead and published it. And I'm not showing you my settings right now because A, we've done them before, and B, they're fairly simple. They're all right here. Actually, my username is Scott, and where I'm deploying it to is SVC Movies. Now I do need to change this because it's not actually working right. I actually want it to be here that I'm going. So on this side, I'm just going to paste that in there. Hold on, don't want all of that. Don't need HTTP twice. And next, and save. That's fine. So now when I actually try and republish this thing, of course I can build it, rebuild the solution if I want. It'll rebuild all, and they all succeed. And when I publish it, it puts me out here to this web service, and I can then go to my WCF test client. WCF test client, and then I can just highlight, one of these or whatever. It doesn't really matter what I take. I think I can just take this one and go to my WCF test client, right click, add a service, and paste that service in there, click OK, and it gets it, and I go and invoke it, and there it is. I've got my two movies, my comedy and my scary movie. My Hello World scary movie. Okay, so I hadn't deployed it yet. I want to do that before I went and did the test client. Now I am going to do a slightly different test client, so let me go back over here and show you actually what I'm doing here, so I don't need that anymore. I have a forum over here, and instead of making a whole bunch of stuff, I'm just making a next and a previous list, new, update. So this should be read, and I should do new as create, read, and update, but delete, but that's all right. And I've got all of these things in here, and if I want to list it, clearly I need to go back to my movies client here and create my reference, and it's going to be a service reference this time, and I'm going to go ahead and click go on that and see if it can do it. It appears like I got my things here. I am going to give this a different namespace. I'm going to call this the movies service. Okay. And once I have that in there, then I can go ahead and create some of these things. Now, for my forum, I'm going to go ahead and create my movie service when it happens, so I don't need to create it over and over again. Movies service dot my movie service SPC library client. Oh, dot movie dot, yeah, it's going to be my movie service client equals, oh wait a minute, I'm just going to call this client equal to new, and I'm going to delete this off there, and it'll say, oh, that's not good, and I'll say, yeah, I wanted to use that. And so now I should be able to say client.list. Okay, create movie. It's not list, it's get. Get movies. Okay, and I can create a list of these. And I'm actually going to create that list up here as well. I'm going to say a list of movie. We're going to call it list for lack of a better name. New list of movies. And then I'm going to have an int index, which tells me which movie I'm looking at the moment, and we'll set that to 0. And I'm just going to set this list equal to that. There we go. Dot to list. I don't know why it's making me do that, but that's all right. I can clearly do it. And then what I need to do is I need to show movie. Now, I don't have a show movie thing in here, so I need to do that. This is going to be a private void show movie, which takes nothing. And all it's going to do is it's going to say let the TV ID equal to list of index dot ID, and of course this says tv.text text And then, of course, because this is an int, I have to say toString. Okay, so then I'm going to do another one, which is going to be tbTitle equal to list of index dot title, and of course, again, I have to do dot text. Okay, I'll try and remember to do that on the next one, which is going to be tbgenre.text is equal to list of index dot genre. And then I'm going to do tb. Oh no, this is date time picker dot nope etc release dot text is equal to list index dot date release date. Okay, and I probably don't need to do dot text. I can do dot date dot we'll do dot text, and we'll say dot to string. Okay, and so whenever I need to, I can get this list and set it to a new list, and I just I should probably set index equal to 0 here, just so that we start off at the beginning of the list. And then we'll do our next and previous. So I'll go back here and let's do previous, and we're going to say if index equals 0, then hey, you're not supposed to be doing this. Message box dot show. You are already at the beginning. Okay, and return. Else, we're going to say index minus minus, and then we're just going to say show movie. Okay, and go back over here, and we'll say next, and we'll say if index is greater than or equal to list dot length list dot I think it's count, actually. So if there are 13 items, it'll be 0 through 12. So I better do minus 1. And I can do greater than, strictly greater than that. I think that's the logic I want. Then message box dot show you are at the end of the list. Okay, and return, and then we'll say index plus plus and show movie. So we've got our next, our previous, our list. Let's do new. We're going to say movie. Okay. First of all, we're going to do a clear movie. And I'll go up here and we will do a private clear movie. I don't know if I'm going to do this more than once, but it's always good to put it in its own thing. And we're also going to have to put a save on here. So I'm going to say list equals null. That will. Well, let's just do list equals new list movie. Okay. And then we're going to say index equals 0. And let's add movie let's see. Yeah, movie m equals new movie and list.add m. Okay, index equals 0. I think we can actually get away with this, maybe. In fact, let's just back up a minute. Let's put it down here. Instead of saying clear movie, let's say, hey, you make a new list, make a new movie, and index is 0, so now you've made a new movie, and when we get done with that, we can have save. So we're going to have new and save. And let's change this from update to save. Haha. Okay, so we create a new one, and when we save it, we're going to say for each var m in list m dot if m dot change property, no, not property change dot we need to find out if it's changed, and if it has been changed, we'll save it. Otherwise, let's say m dot stack oh, we're going to have to do something here. Add add state equals true. And we'll go up here and we'll put in a state up here that says bool add state equals false. Okay. And I've made that add, I don't know why, but okay. It was true. There we go. We'll just do it that way. Now when somebody clicks on this, we'll say if add state, then we're going to do this for each thing here, and for each him in here, we're going to say our client dot create movie and okay. Else, we're going to say for each var in list. And here I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet, but I'm just going to put in some functionality that says if m has changed, update it. Okay, so I don't know what's going to happen there yet, but yeah, I'll get back to that in a moment. And then the only other thing I need to do is delete, I think. Delete, yeah. So here I'm just going to say client dot delete. Oh, I thought I had a delete movie. Is there a remove? No. I have an update movie. I have a get movies. I should have a delete movie. Where is my delete movie? Hold on. My movie service has an update, a get, a delete. There's a delete movie right there. So not exactly sure why that would be. Client dot delete movie. Dot parse, and we're going to send it the string tb id. And I don't know why delete movie is not in there, except when I look at it here, my movie service is a public bool, takes an int, and in the iMovie service here, we do have a get, create, update, and delete. We don't have it as an operations contract. That would be why. Okay, so yeah, there's going to be some problems over here. So let me build that again so I can build everything. Build succeeded, it says. Output says 1 succeeded, 0 failed. So now when I go back here, I do need to update my reference. Before I do that though, I have to deploy my service, my movie service. So I'm going to publish that. Click publish. And it's there now. Good. And now I need to go up here and update service reference. Good. Happened. Don't need that anymore. Do need that. And when I do client.delete, voila, it knows about it. Now, I do need to say .text. Yeah. .text there. Let's save and build that again. So let's see if we can do anything with this. Okay, I don't think it's going to actually run that other one, so that's fine. See, it's still running it as localhost, so I don't really care about that. I don't even care if that gets run anymore. I've published the service, so I need to go back over here to stop this, and I can go over here to my solution and do properties, and now my startup project is just going to be my movies client. I don't even have to start those other things, and when I run this now, it's just going to put this in there, and I can say list, and I can say preview. Oh wait, you're already at the beginning. So here's my one Hello World scary movie, and here's the Great Race, so I can do both of those. If I go again, we forgot something. Okay, stop. Where's my next? ET, click, previous, and next. So I need to put something here and say, okay, let's go ahead and run it again. And I can say list, and when I do next here, my count is 2, so that's fine. And when I say next again, my count should still be 2. My index is 1, 0, and 1. So I need to say if my index is greater than my count minus 1, and this should actually be greater than or equal to. So I naturally hit F10 to go over this, and it quit my recording. So let me go over this, and now it looks like it's going to actually show it correctly. You are at the end of the list, so okay, I can't go on. I can go back though, and I can go there. Let's create a new one. Let's see what happens when I do new here. New. Yeah, let's. So I actually am going to need to clear that list. So let me stop this and create that clear list thing, because when I create a new, I should do a clear list. Okay, so again, I'm going to go over here, copy. I did this once before. Paste. This is going to be clear movie. This is going to be essentially. Now I thought I was going to be able to do. Oh, hold on. I thought I was going to do something and I didn't. So let me just comment this out. KC for comment. And I'm going to go back down here to where I was. The thing that I didn't do here is I didn't show movie. Show movie. So let's try this again. There we go. Don't know why I didn't do it to start with there, but if I list all the movies here, if I say new, it's going to go in here and do this. And it's going to show an unhandled exception. So I need to actually stop that and fix that. If there's a show movie, I need to try this and catch it. And catch and say, okay, hey, if that didn't give me a error, then I'm going to do a date time dot now dot toString to string Okay, so let's try that. Just a little try catch going on there. List. Let's create a new one. I'm going to be optimistic and say that it works. It's going to give me a 0 identity. I can say that the title is Goodbye Cruel World. Definitely a scary movie. And let's change this to tomorrow, because that's when this is going to work. And before I hit the save button, I am going to actually go up here. Save. That's not there. Okay, so clearly I need to do a save. So let's just stop this and go over here and do save. Oh, we called it update. That's right. Let's run it and list it. Create a new one. That's working now, so I don't need to put a breakpoint there. And again, we're going to say goodbye, cruel world. And this is a scary movie that will happen tomorrow when I present this as a lecture. And now we'll do save. And it's going to say, all right, can't hit F10. If I'm in the add state, great. Okay. And so what I neglected to do here is I need to actually call the BT list, okay? And list doesn't do much, right? It's just, I'm going to say, oh, list click. So I'm going to go up here. I'm actually going to go say private list all, and it's going to be a void, and all I'm going to do is cut this stuff, put it up here, and down here I'm going to say list all, and this is going to be VOID, not VOI whatever, and I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to run it, and I'm going to say list hello. Okay, so this seems to be working now. Don't need to do that. And I'm going to go for another one. No, you're at the end of the list. Oh, good. Okay, so I'm going to create a new one here, and we'll call it Goodbye Cruel World again. Cruel World. Genre scary. And we'll make it again tomorrow. And we'll say save. And I'm going to go down here to the end because I forgot to do this, and I'm going to add a list all. Okay, and I'm going to go over, yes. By the way, I should do something else too, right? And that would be add state equals false. So let me do that again. I should be able to be okay. It should actually grab it and execute it okay. Yep. Okay, then list all and continue. So now I should have 3 here, but for some reason it's not working. You're at the end of the list. Okay, so there's a little bit left to be debugged on here, but we've been going now for quite some time, and most of the functionality is working. let's go ahead and see why. Create movie, my movie, create movie returns a movie. Okay, so if I actually went in here and let's stop this and say movie var movie equals this, and let's say message box dot show. That's supposed to be message message box dot show movie dot id dot toString plus, and I'm just going to put like a hashtag in between these really quick. So this is some really quick checks. Okay, movie dot title. Okay, so ID is minus. Oh no. Let's create a list. Next, next. Okay. Let's create a new one, and let's say this is title X and Y, and we're going to keep everything else the same, and we'll just save it. And I'm going to go ahead and cannot hit F10. So first of all, M is a movie that has genre null and everything else null. Because I haven't gotten it yet. So I need to get something. Okay? So let me, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to resuscitate this, but I'm going to call it something else, K uncomment, and I'm going to say set movie, and I'm going to say, hey, I'm just going to totally turn all of this around. I'm going to say list of index dot title is equal to that. And we'll put a semicolon there. And then we're going to do the same thing for every one of these. And equals genre. Let's get rid of that. And then this one we're actually going to say list index dot release date equals ptc dot release date, but this is going to be dot value. I probably could have done it the other way too. So down here, when we save, where was that? For each var, I need to I don't need to do this for each. Let's just leave that not a for each and say var is that, and let's do set movie. Okay. Set movie. And what are we going to set? Well, it's going to be the current one, whatever it is. List underscore index. And then we'll actually don't need to do that. Yes, we do. And then we can show that. This will leave in there for just a moment. That will give us a message box. Okay. So let's list it. Verify that we haven't done anything new. We'll create new. Wow, that's some bad programming, isn't it? Title is going to be goodbye. This should work now. Genre is scary. And let's go ahead and save that. And let's go hop over. We'll set the movie. Get that. Say that this is movie number 3 and that it's goodbye. And that we're good. Okay? And by the way, at the end of this, it did list all. So I should now be able to go 1, 2, 3. And there we've got it. Okay, I'll leave the update up to you. But it's really not that hard. And this should work. We'll see you next time.